5-minute energy reset to manifest exactly what you want fast. There is a distance between the life you want and the vibration you're sending right now. And this distance almost never comes from a lack of desire. It comes from a subtle, energetic gap that forms between what you ask for mentally and what you broadcast emotionally. You may visualize, affirm, or set intentions with clarity, yet still feel that your manifestation remains out of reach. This does not mean the universe is withholding anything. It means your internal signals are not aligned enough for the outcome to move toward you. The universe does not respond to words. It responds to frequency. And when your desire and your emotions speak two different languages, your vibration becomes unclear. This hidden gap appears in the smallest physical reactions. You think of the outcome you want, and your breath shortens. You imagine abundance, and a faint tension rises in your chest. You affirm confidence, yet there is a quiet heaviness in your stomach. These sensations are not random. They are indicators of your true vibration. The moment your emotional state contradicts your intention, the manifestation slows. This gap is not created by weakness or lack of belief. It forms because your mind moves faster than your body. The mind can choose a desire instantly, but the body takes longer to accept the emotional frequency of that desire. The more you ignore the gap, the stronger it becomes. You try harder. You think more. You push your intention forward while your body quietly resists. That resistance produces energetic friction, a kind of internal static that confuses the signal you send. You feel as if you are reaching for your desire while something inside pulls in the opposite direction. This is why manifestation often feels slow or inconsistent. You are not misaligned with the universe. You are misaligned with yourself. The moment your emotional state and your intention point in the same direction, the gap begins to close and your vibration strengthens. Bringing awareness to this gap is the first real step in manifestation. Awareness dissolves confusion. Awareness softens resistance. Awareness exposes the emotional patterns that have been shaping your vibration without your permission. When you acknowledge the sensations in your body instead of pushing them away, your energy begins reorganizing itself naturally. Your breath becomes deeper, your posture loosens, and your internal field becomes clearer. This clarity is not forced. It is the natural outcome of alignment beginning to form. As the hidden frequency gap closes, your desire begins to feel closer. You sense a shift in the way your body responds to the idea of receiving. The tension that once rose quietly begins to fade. The emotions that once contradicted your intention become neutral or supportive. You stop feeling like you are chasing something, and instead begin feeling like you are preparing to receive it. This preparation is not a mental exercise. It is an energetic recalibration. And once it begins, everything that follows becomes easier, faster, and more intuitive. You step into the emotional environment where manifestation finally has space to move. There is a precise moment in every energetic shift when your internal state stops resisting and begins receiving. This moment is subtle, quiet, and often overlooked, yet it is the most important transition in the manifestation process. This is the energetic switch point, the instant where your vibration moves from tension to openness, from doubt to neutrality, from effort to alignment. Most people miss this shift because they expect alignment to arrive with dramatic emotion. But the truth is that the body whispers its acceptance long before the mind recognizes it. You have experienced this switch point many times without realizing it. It is the instant when your breath deepens naturally after a period of stress. It is the sudden sense of calm that washes through your chest even when nothing has changed externally. It is the quiet realization that what you want might actually be possible. These small, almost imperceptible changes are not coincidences. They mark the moment when your energy stops pushing against the desire and begins moving with it. When this happens, your signal becomes clearer, and the universe can finally respond with precision. The energetic switch point is not created through force. It happens when you stop wrestling with your thoughts and allow your emotional state to shift at its own pace. Trying to force positivity or suppress discomfort only strengthens resistance. But when you pause, breathe, and observe, your energy naturally begins to loosen. The body is always attempting to return to alignment, and the switch point is the moment it succeeds. Recognizing this moment gives you an extraordinary advantage because awareness allows you to stabilize the new vibration instead of slipping back into old patterns. Most people expect the turning point to feel like sudden confidence or overwhelming excitement, but the switch point rarely arrives that way. It often feels like emptiness, spaciousness, or neutrality. This neutrality is powerful because it means your emotional resistance has dropped. leaving room for alignment to rise. The neutrality is not lack of emotion, it is the absence of friction. And when friction disappears, your manifestation can finally begin moving through the path of least resistance. When you identify the switch point, your relationship with manifestation changes forever. You no longer wait for external signs to tell you whether something is working. You begin trusting your internal cues. You sense when your vibration is opening. You recognize when your emotional field is softening. You notice the exact moment your intention stops feeling heavy and begins feeling accessible. This awareness transforms manifestation from guesswork into an intuitive, embodied process. The switch point also strengthens your confidence because it shows you that your emotional state can shift without effort. You do not need to fight your old patterns. You only need to recognize when your energy begins changing. The moment you identify the shift, you can support it by relaxing your breath, opening your posture, and allowing your body to settle into the new vibration. This cooperation between awareness and energy is what allows the next levels of alignment to unfold. Once the energetic switch point occurs, the door to deeper transformation opens. Your vibration becomes more coherent, your emotional state becomes more stable, your intuition becomes clearer. You begin to feel not only that manifestation is possible, but that it is already in motion. This chapter prepares your energy for the next step of the process, where the static that once interfered with your signal is released, allowing your frequency to rise even further. Your energy is constantly broadcasting signals, even when you are not speaking, acting, or thinking consciously about what you want. Much of this broadcast comes not from clarity, but from accumulated static. This inner static is the emotional residue left behind by unresolved stress, quiet insecurities, past disappointments, and moments of tension you never fully released. It becomes a low-level noise that sits beneath your awareness, shaping your vibration without your permission. The universe responds to this static just as clearly as it responds to your desires. And when the two signals conflict, your manifestation becomes diluted. Clearing this static is essential because a clear vibration carries far more power than a strong intention. Static enters your system through small, unnoticed experiences. You hold your breath without meaning to. You replay a memory unconsciously. You feel a drop in your stomach when you think about a certain topic but dismiss it quickly. These micro-reactions seem insignificant, yet each one leaves an energetic trace. Over time, the traces build up and create internal interference. You may believe you are aligned mentally, but if your body is holding emotional tension, your vibration becomes scattered. This scattered energy sends mixed messages, slowing manifestation and reducing your ability to feel connected to your own desires. The inner static purge begins when you become aware of these sensations, rather than ignoring them. Awareness is the most powerful form of release because it brings unconscious tension into the light of your attention. When you notice the tightness in your chest, the knot in your stomach, or the heaviness behind your ribs, you give your body permission to let it go. The moment you stop resisting your internal state, your energy begins to soften and reorganize itself. Static dissolves naturally when it is acknowledged. Suppressed tension grows stronger. Observed tension weakens. You do not clear static through force or mental effort. You clear it through presence. When you find a place in your body that feels contracted, simply breathe into it without trying to fix it. Allow the sensation to exist without judgment. With each breath, the static loses its grip. Your body begins returning to coherence because the nervous system is designed to release tension when you stop resisting it. This softening creates space inside you, a space where your true frequency can rise without competing with emotional noise. As the static fades, you begin to feel a subtle shift in your internal landscape. Your breath deepens without effort. Your posture opens slightly. Your thoughts feel less crowded. Your emotions feel less reactive. These changes indicate that your vibration is becoming clearer, more focused, and more receptive. You start noticing that the desire which once felt heavy now feels lighter, as if the emotional clutter that once separated you from it has been lifted. This clarity is not just emotional, it is vibrational. Your energetic field becomes more consistent, allowing the universe to recognize your signal with greater accuracy. The inner static purge creates the foundation for everything that follows. Without clearing the static, alignment becomes unstable. With static cleared, your vibration becomes grounded, steady, and coherent. You feel more connected to yourself, more aware of your emotional truth, and more capable of rising into the frequency that matches your manifestation. As the noise fades, your energy becomes quiet enough for you to sense the deeper signals that guide your alignment. This prepares you for the next chapter, where you begin anchoring these elevated states into your body so your vibration remains stable and accessible. Your body is the gateway to your vibration, and it shifts frequency faster than your thoughts ever can. When you rely only on mental techniques to manifest, your progress becomes unstable because the mind jumps quickly between clarity and doubt. But when your body participates, your energy becomes grounded and consistent. The sensory anchor technique harnesses this truth by creating a physical sensation that links directly to the emotional frequency of your desire. This anchor becomes a signal you can activate instantly, allowing you to return to alignment at any moment without effort or struggle. Every desire carries a specific emotional tone. Abundance feels expansive. Love feels warm. Confidence feels steady. Peace feels spacious. These emotional tones appear first as subtle physical sensations. You may feel a lightness around your ribs, a warmth spreading in your chest, a soft opening in your throat, or a cool calm settling behind your eyes. These sensations are not random. They are your body's natural response to the vibration you're trying to access. By paying attention to these sensations, you identify the place in your body where your alignment begins most naturally. This place becomes your anchoring point. To create the anchor, you start by focusing gently on the sensation that feels the most open or elevated. You do not force the feeling. You simply observe it. As your attention deepens, the sensation strengthens. Your breath begins to synchronize with the emotion you want to embody. Your chest opens slightly, your posture adjusts, and your internal state becomes more coherent. This coherence is your vibration aligning with the emotional tone of your desire. The more you focus on the sensation, the more stable it becomes. It grows from a subtle spark into a steady internal resonance. Once the anchor forms, your nervous system begins associating the sensation with the elevated emotional frequency that matches your manifestation. With repetition, you no longer need long practices to feel aligned. A single intentional breath, a small shift of awareness, or a brief moment of stillness can activate the anchor. This turns alignment into something accessible rather than fragile. You gain the ability to redirect your vibration quickly, even during stress or uncertainty. The anchor becomes a physical memory of alignment stored in your body, ready to guide your energy whenever needed. The sensory anchor technique also creates emotional consistency. When your body knows what alignment feels like, it becomes easier to maintain that state for longer periods. You begin noticing when you drift out of alignment because the absence of the anchor sensation becomes clear. Instead of spiraling into worry, you gently reactivate the anchor and return to the elevated frequency. This strengthens your manifestation signal and makes your vibration more coherent and recognizable to the universe. A stable signal attracts outcomes faster than a scattered one. As the anchor strengthens, you begin to feel a deeper connection to your desire. It stops feeling distant or hypothetical and starts feeling realistic and emotionally familiar. You sense the desire not as something you are reaching for, but as something your energy is already preparing to receive. The more you activate the anchor, the more natural the frequency becomes. This shift marks the transition from practicing alignment to embodying it. The anchor becomes your internal compass, guiding you toward the elevated states that accelerate manifestation. With your vibration stabilized and anchored, you are ready for the next step. The journey continues by transforming emotional resistance into a force that supports your desire rather than blocking it. The next chapter expands your ability to redirect emotional energy, allowing every feeling you experience to become part of the alignment process rather than an obstacle. Every desire you hold carries two emotional directions within it. One direction pulls you closer to the experience you want, and the other quietly pulls you away. Most people unintentionally manifest from the reverse direction because the emotional charge beneath their desire is shaped by past memories, old disappointments, fear of repeating the same outcomes, or pressure to make things happen quickly. You may think you are broadcasting excitement, but your body may be carrying tension. You might be affirming confidence, but your stomach may tighten with uncertainty. This conflict creates emotional polarity. To manifest with clarity, you must reverse that polarity so the emotion beneath your desire becomes a supportive force instead of a contradictory one. The first step is acknowledging the real emotion that rises when you think about your desire. Not the emotion you want to feel, but the one that actually appears. It might be worry about timing, it might be fear that things will not change, it might be frustration from past attempts, it might be a quiet heaviness you never put into words. When you allow the emotion to surface without trying to suppress it, you bring honesty into your vibration. This honesty is powerful because it reveals the emotional charge that shapes the frequency you are sending. You cannot reverse polarity without first seeing the truth of what your energy carries. Once the emotion becomes clear, you begin the reversal by shifting the meaning behind the feeling. Every emotion you experience is energy in motion, and motion can be redirected. Instead of viewing tension as resistance, you reinterpret it as readiness. Instead of seeing fear as a sign of weakness, you view it as evidence that you are stepping into a new version of yourself. Instead of treating doubt as a barrier, you recognize it as the mind's way of adjusting to unfamiliar possibilities. This shift in meaning transforms the emotional charge from something that slows your vibration into something that contributes to your alignment. As you reinterpret the emotion, you will feel a subtle shift in your internal state. The tightness in your body softens, the mental noise quiets, the heaviness that once felt like resistance begins to lose its grip. This is the moment polarity reverses. The emotion no longer pulls you away from your desire. It begins pulling you toward it. The feeling that once held you back becomes a source of momentum. You stop fighting the emotion and start using it. In this new relationship with your internal world, every feeling becomes fuel rather than friction. When emotional polarity reverses, your vibration rises automatically. You do not need to create artificial positivity or force a more optimistic state. Your body naturally opens, your breath deepens. Your emotional tone shifts into a calmer, more grounded frequency. You begin feeling closer to your desire because your internal signals now support your intention rather than contradict it. You broadcast a unified vibration instead of a fragmented one. The universe responds quickly to this unity. It does not question your words. It follows the emotional truth beneath them. With this reversal complete, your emotional field becomes far more resilient. Challenges no longer pull you out of alignment as easily because you have learned to recognize and redirect emotional energy rather than suppress it. You begin trusting your ability to shift internally. You begin noticing how your energy remains steadier, and you start experiencing the early signs of alignment more frequently. This prepares you for the next chapter, where the universe begins echoing your new frequency back to you through subtle yet meaningful reflections. Every time your internal state shifts, the universe responds, even if the physical manifestation has not yet appeared. This response begins as a subtle reflection, a kind of vibrational feedback loop that mirrors your new frequency back to you. This phenomenon is what can be called a quantum echo. It is the earliest evidence that your alignment is being registered by the field around you. These echoes often arrive quietly through coincidences, impulses, unexpected clarity, and small synchronicities that match the vibration you have activated. When you learn to recognize these echoes, manifestation stops feeling abstract and begins feeling interactive. A quantum echo can be something as simple as thinking about a desire and then hearing someone mention a related topic. It might be glimpsing repeating numbers right after an emotional shift. It might be receiving a sudden intuitive insight that aligns perfectly with the direction you want to move toward. You may notice conversations, images, opportunities, or random messages appearing at the exact moment you strengthen your alignment. These events are not random. They are the universe adjusting to your new frequency and sending back reflections to confirm that your signal is being heard. Many people ignore these echoes because they expect the universe to respond with big, dramatic signs. They think nothing is happening unless the manifestation appears instantly. But manifestation rarely jumps from energy to physical form without transitional signals. It moves through stages, and the quantum echo is the first stage that confirms momentum. When you acknowledge these signs, your alignment strengthens. When you dismiss them, your vibration weakens. Awareness amplifies the state that produced the echo, making the manifestation move toward you faster. Quantum echoes also sharpen your intuition. As your vibration becomes more coherent, your internal guidance system becomes clearer. You feel subtle nudges to act, pause, reach out, or shift your focus. These impulses often lead you toward the path of least resistance, the pathway through which your manifestation can arrive most easily. When you follow these intuitive cues, you align your actions with your vibration, creating a powerful synergy between intention and movement. This harmony accelerates the unfolding of your desire. Over time, the echoes begin forming patterns. You notice repeated signs, recurring themes, or increasing synchronicities that all point in the same direction. This clustering of signals is not coincidence. It is the universe synchronizing timelines, aligning circumstances, and clearing pathways that match your new emotional frequency. The more stable your vibration becomes, the stronger and more frequent these echoes grow. This progression is the bridge between inner transformation and external change. Recognizing and honoring these echoes deepens your trust in the process. You no longer rely solely on hope or blind belief. You begin witnessing tangible feedback from the energetic field around you. This feedback is subtle but powerful, reminding you that the manifestation is already moving toward you, even if the final form has not yet arrived. The quantum echo principle shows you that you are not working alone. You are in a continuous exchange with the universe, and the universe is responding with precision. As these echoes accumulate, your emotional certainty increases. You feel less urgency, less doubt, and less pressure because you can sense progress happening beneath the surface. Your energy relaxes into the process, and this relaxation creates even more alignment. The quantum echo principle prepares you for the next phase of manifestation, where your desire becomes more concentrated, focused, and magnetically charged. The next chapter teaches you how to intensify this energy through the power of compressed emotional focus. Every desire you hold is made of energy, but that energy often becomes diluted by overthinking, worry, impatience, and the need for reassurance. When your desire expands in too many directions at once, your vibration becomes scattered. You are not sending one clear signal to the universe. You are sending many mixed emotional impulses. The desire compression method reverses this pattern by condensing your intention into one concentrated emotional frequency. This compression amplifies your energetic signature, making your manifestation clearer, stronger, and easier for the universe to respond to. To begin this process, bring your desire into your awareness and strip away everything that is not essential. Remove the questions about when it will happen, how it will unfold, or whether you are doing things correctly. Those questions weaken your frequency. Instead, focus on the emotional essence that sits beneath the desire. Every manifestation is rooted in a feeling: freedom, expansion, connection, security, joy, peace, or confidence. When you identify this core emotion, you begin narrowing your vibration into a single, powerful direction. Once the core emotion becomes clear, you compress it by gathering your emotional and mental energy inward. Imagine the desire moving from your mind down into your chest, then condensing into a single glowing point. This is the emotional nucleus of your manifestation. It carries the pure vibrational signature of what you want without the noise of details or doubts. As you focus on this emotional nucleus, your breath deepens, your body steadies, and your vibration gains density. You feel the desire not as a distant hope, but as an internal presence. Compression intensifies your frequency because it removes emotional contradictions. Instead of feeling excitement one moment and doubt the next, you stabilize into a consistent emotional state. The universe responds faster to consistent energy because consistency signals readiness. When your emotional output becomes unified, you shift from wanting the manifestation to aligning with it. You broadcast a signal that says, "I am tuned to the frequency of this desire," and the universe responds accordingly. Another powerful effect of compression is the reduction of urgency. When your desire is scattered, you constantly feel like something is missing. When you compress the desire into a single emotional frequency, the feeling of lack dissolves. You feel more grounded and centered. You stop chasing the outcome and start embodying the vibration that naturally attracts it. This shift reduces resistance dramatically, allowing manifestation to flow more easily into your experience. As you practice the desire compression method, you will notice that your internal state becomes richer and more stable. The emotional nucleus inside you acts like a gravitational center, pulling your thoughts, intentions, and intuition into alignment. You feel guided rather than confused, certain rather than doubtful. You begin to sense the future version of yourself who already holds the manifestation. This is an early form of identity alignment, preparing your energy for an even deeper transformation. Compression also enhances sensitivity to signs and synchronicities. Because your vibration is more focused, the universe mirrors it back to you more clearly. You begin noticing subtle opportunities and intuitive nudges that previously went unnoticed. These reflections reinforce your alignment and strengthen your confidence, creating a positive feedback loop between your inner world and your outer experience. As the emotional nucleus grows stronger, your vibration becomes unmistakably clear. You shift from broadcasting a fragmented signal to projecting a concentrated emotional truth. This prepares you for the next phase of manifestation, stepping into the identity of the version of you who already lives in alignment with this desire. The next chapter takes you deeper into that embodiment. Every manifestation has a version of you who is already living inside it, and that version is not a fantasy or an imagined character. It is a real energetic blueprint, a vibration that already exists within your field. This future identity carries the emotional tone, posture, breathing pattern, and inner dialogue of someone who naturally attracts what you want to manifest. The embodied future identity is the process of aligning yourself with that version now, letting your body and energy adopt the frequency of the reality you are calling in. When you step into this version of yourself, even subtly, your vibration shifts instantly, and the universe responds to that shift with precision. To begin this embodiment, you do not try to force confidence or pretend that everything is already manifested. Instead, you tune into the emotional posture of your future self. Imagine how they wake up, how they carry themselves, how they respond to challenges, how they move through daily life. Feel the quality of their inner state. Notice the calmness in their breath, the grounded rhythm in their thoughts, the quiet certainty in their energy. These sensations are not inventions. They are signals from the version of you who already holds the outcome. When you connect with these sensations, you begin activating the frequency of your future identity. Embodiment happens through micro shifts. You might adjust your breathing to match the calmness of your future self. You might allow your shoulders to relax the way theirs would. You might shift your internal tone from urgency to clarity. These changes may seem small, but they recalibrate your nervous system in powerful ways. Your body begins recognizing the elevated state as familiar instead of foreign. When your body accepts the frequency, your vibration stabilizes into it. And this stability is what makes manifestation move faster. Identity is one of the most magnetic forces in the universe. When you identify with the version of yourself who is waiting, doubting, or worrying, your vibration reflects that state. But when you identify with the version who is receiving, expanding, and allowing, your entire energetic field reorganizes itself. You become a vibrational match to the manifestation instead of a seeker of it. This shift reduces resistance dramatically because you stop acting from the energy of not yet and start acting from the energy of already becoming. Your embodied future identity also influences your decisions. You begin choosing what aligns rather than what comforts. You stop repeating patterns that belong to your old vibration. You sense what your future self would prioritize, how they would speak, how they would think, how they would respond to situations. These internal cues guide you toward behaviors and perspectives that reinforce your new frequency. Every aligned choice becomes another step into the timeline where your manifestation exists. As you continue embodying your future identity, you will notice changes in the way people interact with you. Your energy becomes more grounded, and others respond to that stability. You attract conversations, opportunities, and experiences that match the vibration you're holding. Your environment begins shifting because reality mirrors identity. The more consistently you embody the elevated version of yourself, the faster your external world reorganizes to reflect it. The embodied future identity is not about pretending. It is about remembering. It is about allowing the version of you who has always existed in potential to step forward now. It is about aligning your energy with the reality you want so that your manifestation can flow through the path of least resistance. With this embodiment active, you are ready for the next step, learning how to stabilize this momentum so it does not fade when old emotions or familiar doubts try to surface. When your vibration rises into alignment and you begin embodying the version of yourself who already matches your desire, the next challenge is maintaining that elevated state long enough for reality to adjust. Alignment is not fragile, but it is new. Your nervous system is conditioned by years of old emotional patterns, and those patterns often try to pull you back into familiar states, not because you are failing, but because your body is adjusting to a higher frequency. The momentum stabilizer is the process of holding your vibration steady so that your new emotional state becomes your default rather than a temporary peak. Momentum is not lost through major setbacks. It slips away quietly in subtle ways. A slight tightening in the chest, a familiar doubtful thought, a shift in posture that closes the body, a brief worry that resurfaces from habit rather than truth. These small cues indicate that your vibration is drifting. Most people ignore them until the drift becomes strong enough to pull them fully back into old patterns. But when you learn to identify these early signs, you regain control of your energy before resistance gathers momentum. This awareness allows you to stabilize your vibration quickly and effortlessly. Stabilizing momentum is not about forcing yourself to stay positive or pretending you never feel doubt. It is about choosing your frequency again and again with awareness. When you sense even a mild drift, you pause, breathe, and reconnect with your anchor or your future identity. This simple act immediately redirects your vibration. Each time you do this, you strengthen the neural pathways associated with alignment. Your body begins recognizing the elevated state as familiar, and familiarity is what allows the new vibration to hold. The more often you return to your chosen frequency, the more stable it becomes. Emotional stability does not come from avoiding discomfort. It comes from reclaiming your alignment every time you notice you've drifted. This is how momentum becomes anchored into your system. Instead of falling back into old emotional cycles, you adapt to a higher state. The drift becomes shorter, the return becomes faster, and the elevated vibration becomes easier to maintain. This is not effort, it is training. You are teaching your emotional body how to stay aligned. As momentum stabilizes, your internal landscape begins changing. The thoughts that once triggered doubt lose their influence. The emotions that once felt overwhelming become softer. The inner resistance that once blocked your progress fades. This is because your energy now carries a stronger signal than your old patterns. You are no longer fighting your past vibration. You are building a new baseline, a new emotional normal that matches the reality you want to attract. When your new baseline becomes steady, manifestation becomes inevitable. Stabilized momentum also opens the door to stronger intuitive guidance. When your vibration holds steady, you begin receiving clear impulses about what steps to take, what to release, where to focus, and how to move forward. These impulses are not forced. They emerge naturally from your elevated state. You begin trusting your inner guidance because it becomes consistent. This trust further stabilizes your vibration, creating a powerful cycle in which alignment and intuition reinforce each other. As momentum becomes your new energetic foundation, you will notice a shift in the way you perceive challenges. Instead of seeing them as obstacles, you recognize them as opportunities to strengthen your vibration. You stop reacting from fear and start responding from clarity. You no longer fear losing alignment because you know how to return to it. This emotional resilience is what keeps your manifestation path open and unobstructed. With your momentum now steady, you stand at the threshold where inner transformation becomes external reality. The next chapter reveals what happens when all the internal changes you have created begin to materialize into physical form, the moment your energy becomes powerful enough to reshape your world. There comes a moment in every manifestation journey when the internal shifts you've created become so stable, so coherent, and so aligned that the universe begins reorganizing external reality around your new frequency. This moment is the reality threshold. It is the precise energetic point where your inner transformation becomes impossible for the outer world to ignore. You have closed the frequency gap, activated the switch point, cleared the static, anchored your vibration, reversed your emotional polarity, received quantum echoes, compressed your desire, embodied your future identity, and stabilized your momentum. Now, all of these internal adjustments converge into a single powerful signal that begins reshaping your environment. You know you are standing at this threshold not because something dramatic happens, but because of the calm certainty that rises within you. Your body feels lighter, your breath is deeper, your emotional state is steady rather than reactive. Your desire no longer feels distant or fragile. It feels present, familiar, and increasingly unavoidable. You no longer check constantly for signs because you feel the manifestation moving toward you. This certainty is not mental, it is vibrational. Your energy has shifted into the frequency of receiving, and receiving always precedes physical manifestation. The reality threshold is an energetic tipping point. Before this moment, most of the work happens internally. After this moment, the universe begins matching your vibration externally. Synchronicities grow stronger, timelines rearrange, opportunities begin appearing without effort. People respond differently to your energy. You notice coincidences that align perfectly with your desire. This is the universe adjusting itself to your new identity. The internal alignment you cultivated becomes a magnet that pulls physical reality into coherence with your vibration. Crossing the reality threshold also changes the way you move through life. You no longer act from urgency, fear, or impatience. You make decisions from clarity because your intuition becomes more precise. Your emotional responses become measured, and your energy becomes attractive rather than reactive. You become someone who naturally aligns with what they want, not someone who chases it. This shift in identity reinforces the vibration, allowing the manifestation to move toward you even faster. The universe responds most strongly to consistency, and by this point, your internal consistency has created a stable vibrational field. You are now broadcasting a precise emotional signature that the universe can interpret clearly. There is no mixed message, no contradictory emotion, no static interfering with your signal. You have reached the level of alignment where your manifestation is not a question of if, but when, and the when is no longer far away. It is already unfolding in the background of your reality, preparing to cross into the physical. The reality threshold is also the moment where you stop identifying with the old version of yourself. You are no longer the person who doubts, hesitates, or feels unworthy. You are aligned with the identity that attracts your desire naturally. Your entire energetic blueprint has shifted, and reality is catching up to that shift. Your emotions support your desire. Your thoughts match your identity. Your energy broadcasts clarity. This coherence is irresistible to the universe. As you stand in this threshold, the final step is simply to allow. Allow the universe to unfold what you have aligned with. Allow the synchronicities to guide you. Allow the opportunities to reveal themselves. Allow the timing to feel natural rather than forced. When you remain receptive, your manifestation flows through the path of least resistance. You are no longer pushing energy outward. You are magnetizing experiences inward. You have reached the point where inner transformation becomes visible change. The reality threshold marks the moment your vibration has become powerful enough to shape outcomes. From here, your manifestation is already in motion, already aligning, and already preparing to enter your physical experience. You have done the internal work. Now reality begins to respond.